Coach, I'm going to talk about some products, and instead of going like deep into the ingredients, I think most people here have heard all the training videos on the ingredients and stuff like that. So I kind of took a holiday approach to it. So we have like the Fab Four that everyone always talks about. So I made the holiday Fab Four. So, and I just went to the gym this morning, and they're running a promotion there called Fit by the First. And I was like, that would be a fabulous kind of play into promoting these, to just promote a 60-day use of Plexus of these products to get you fit by the first. So the first product in my holiday Fab 4 is ProBio 5. So I kind of spun it on things people are doing during the holidays and how it can help them. So first, immunity support. A lot of people are traveling, and so many people, especially that I work with, travel all the time, and they're sitting next to people that are sick, and just the immunity support, being around kids that are sick all the time. I know my kids, I made sure they got their shots and everything, but I know they're going to get colds and stuff like that, and I just want to keep my immunity up. And I also, I know several people that are giving their kids the ProBio 5, so I need to check with my pediatrician first, but I definitely plan on putting them on that as soon as I can, just to get them started. And then also increased absorption of food from the digestive enzymes. A lot of people are kind of getting off of their normal eating plan during the holidays, going to parties and eating out more just because they're on the run. And when your body's eating not their normal food, you can get nutrient deficiencies and stuff like that. So I'd really promote that to people, just to make sure their bases are covered and getting all their nutrition. And then this is kind of along with the BioCleanse, but reduce gas and bloating of eating foods you're not used to eating. So with the digestive enzymes, it really helps you break down those foods and reduce the symptoms. I have so many people, my friends and that I work with, are always complaining about being bloated, and then we have stuff at work and they'll eat it and then they'll be miserable the rest of the day. So I think that's definitely a good selling point. And then also, I don't know if you guys have heard of SAD, seasonal affective disorder. So a lot of people get seasonal depression just with the weather change and less sunlight. And seasonal affective disorder, SAD. Yeah, especially up north for people, if you have any ambassadors or customers up north. But we know that serotonin is the happy hormone that a lot of it resonates in your gut. So I think that's a really good selling point for the ProBio 5, is to help combat depression during the winter months with less sunlight. And then moving on to X Factor. This is really a year-round product, and I love it, but I think it's really important during the holidays. Again, with you not eating your normal typical diet, you got to make sure that your bases are covered. And this relates back to getting sick and immunity. If you're malnutrition or malnourished, then you're not going to have your defenses up for illnesses coming your way. And you're also not going to have the energy to get through your day and all the extra holiday events that you're going to. And then most minerals are essential minerals, meaning that your body can't make them. So you have to get them from an outside source. So if you're not eating a perfect clean diet, which I don't think anyone is, even if you try your hardest. So it's essential that you get those from a supplement like X Factor. And then, so moving on to Block. So I know last time I did Muffins and Motivation, and I talked about products for fitness-minded people, and I have to say, Block was my one product that I was so against at first, just because I felt like it was marketed as a quick fix, and my mind has so shifted on it, and I love it now. And I don't take it every day, honestly. I take it when I eat, pizza or cheat meals, basically. But I do see twice a week. No, I do eat hamburgers and pizza and indulge. I do.
I've never seen it.
I do. But I definitely see a benefit of taking it daily too now. Just after watching a lot of training videos, and really the benefit of reducing glycemic index on foods.
Wait, say that again. You're talking
Sorry.
So you do see benefit to taking it daily?
I see benefit to taking block daily for the reduced glycemic index of food, which is really, if you're eating a really healthy diet, your body breaks down those foods slower, so your blood sugar is even. But if you eat, quick digesting carbs, sugars, white bread, stuff like that, it digests really quickly. So just from watching all the training videos, it helps your body be more efficient at breaking down carbs and sugars. So I can definitely see a benefit of taking it daily.
So can I share towards that? Because I
Sure.
have hypoglycemia, and block has done amazing things. For me, I don't eat that many carbs, but whenever I do, my old world was, it would put me almost into like a sugar coma.
Mm-hmm.
I can't process the carbs correctly, so it makes me very lethargic. And like literally, I mean, if Craig were here, he'd tell you, like, I fall asleep like for about 15, 20 minutes. I cannot keep my eyes open. And so I do everything to have a high protein diet because of that.
Yeah.
But with block, because it's blocking 48%, I don't go into a kind of that sugar carb coma because it totally balances out. It does exactly what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
So it's changed everything for me. Even baked potatoes, like I couldn't do that because it would make me fall asleep. So it's really good for that.
Did you guys hear that at all? Yeah. Okay. And I kind of used to have that problem with blood sugar spikes and stuff like that. I'd be out, and if I went too long without eating, I would start sweating and getting lightheaded. And I've really noticed a difference, not just with block, but Slim definitely helping me with that. And the white kidney bean extract is another reason why I see the benefit of taking it daily, because it burns body fat, not lean muscle tissue. So as an athlete, that's definitely really important to me. So the white kidney bean extract burns body fat, not lean muscle. So a lot of times when you're crash dieting or stuff like that, or cutting your calories, it's burning the lean muscle, not the body fat. So that's why a lot of people do low carb diets, is to tap into burning the body fat instead of the lean muscle. So this is a good product to go along with that. I would still avoid it if you're pregnant on a low carb diet, or if you're hypothyroid, which I think Melissa is, but has been able to incorporate it.
I take it certain times. Yeah. The iodine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but can you go back to saying taking it daily? Are you saying that for people that do have a more of an enriched carb diet than others? Are you saying that it's beneficial to take it even if you don't do a lot of carbs and sugars?
I think it is beneficial even if you don't do a lot of carbs and sugars. I personally try to eat pretty low carb most of the time, and I would probably, as I start incorporating it more, I'll probably do it during lunch, because that's usually my bigger meal, and then I snack, every 3 to 4 hours. So I would probably take it during lunch, but I definitely think the typical American and most people's customers, they could even probably take it lunch and dinner, like one at lunch, one at dinner, just to make sure it's evened out, and blocking at both meals versus taking the 2 at one meal.
Do you know if we only take one, do we still get the 48%, or do we count it more like 25%?
I don't know.
It's 48.
Is it still one?
It's all just based on, you're going to get 48% in the one capsule, but if you're consuming a lot of carbs, then you need to take the 2.
Okay, so that's kind of a good way to judge it. If you're just eating, kind of medium carb, then you just get 1. But like if you were going to go out and eat pizza or something.
Yeah.
Like for me, honestly, so whenever I was doing a lot more of my smoothies because of the sugar, because of my strawberries, I would take 1 with my smoothie, because for me, from a hypoglycemic side, my sugar, I can't do that spike of sugar. So I would take 1, but last night if I go to a Mexican restaurant, I'm going to take 2 because I'm doing for tortillas, So that's how I do it. It just depends on your consumption of what if you're doing a pasta dinner, I would say do 2. But if you're doing,
she said 5.
Can you do 2 and 2? 1, 2.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I would probably take 1, and then if I'm going to have like pizza or hamburger or something like that, yeah, do 2 at night.
Yeah.
And then the 4th product is Edge. So I think just people are racing around like crazy during these months, and people are always looking for energy. And I know a lot of people like their coffee when it's colder outside, but I think this is a good balanced out product. And I kind of went back to, I think we were doing our training program, our leaders training when this came out, and we had to do a video on Edge. And I went back and looked at kind of some of the good tidbits on Edge. Sorry, the computer's falling. So I think a great selling point is that there's only 3 ingredients in the product versus most energy products out there have like 25 plus ingredients and dyes and chemicals. So theocrine is one of the ingredients, and it's a natural occurring chemical that's similar, or ingredient similar to caffeine, and it stimulates the central nervous system. But unlike caffeine, it doesn't elevate your blood pressure. So that's a huge selling point. I know there's a lot of people on blood pressure medication. I would definitely check with your doctor first if you are on blood pressure medication, just to make sure it doesn't interact with that.
Michelle, I can give you a story on that.
Okay.
My blood pressure. Okay. So when I started Plexus, I'm still on blood pressure meds, but I cut it in half this year because it kept going down. So I think I'm going to go off. But I on purpose took Edge and kept taking my blood pressure, and I paid attention for 5 days in a row, and it never altered it, and it stayed low.
That's awesome. Cool. And then another benefit of the theocrine is that it reduces pain and swelling. So I think for athletes, taking it as a pre-workout to reduce pain and swelling during and post-workout is a huge benefit. And I also read that it improves mood, decreases stress, and irritability. So, I mean, who doesn't want that compared to coffee that will not offer those benefits? The other ingredient is theanine, and it's an amino acid found in green tea and used for treating anxiety, high blood pressure, and preventing Alzheimer's. So it's an amino acid found in green tea, and it's used for treating anxiety, high blood pressure, and preventing Alzheimer's. And then the caffeine source is a natural occurring coffee bean extract, basically, that hasn't been roasted. And with typical coffee caffeine, you can develop a tolerance for that. And with this product, you'll get the same effect every time you take it. You won't develop a tolerance for it. So I think that's a huge selling point as well. Let's see.
Can I say?
Sure.
I'm a good of that. Well, my son actually takes an Edge and like 2 vitamins about 5 o'clock before his football game.
So I just had
Really,
Joseph take
totally.
an Edge this morning before his, and he and Craig were freaking out that I was like, I need for you to take this Edge.
Yeah.
And because exactly what you're saying for the pain and swelling, like we do, I mean, he lives on E's and nerve as well for that same reason. But it's funny because whenever I got that, it said he's playing good.
It is.
You do mix activities.
Yeah.
And Edge.
Whenever I do Edge, I don't do it very often, but whenever I do it, it makes me laugh because if Craig goes walking with me, he's like, oh my goodness, like stop, because I go so fast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just keep up. Like, I'm not doing anything different. He's like, yes, you are. You never go this fast. So it really is different.
Well, Mom freaks me out. Mom's 75. She takes her Edge at 6 o'clock at night
Oh my
to go
gosh.
dancing.
Oh.
And everybody at the dance is like, we want whatever you're taking. So we're
Can you guys hear them at all? Kind of.
I didn't hear her.
Okay.
You might want to repeat it. Why don't you repeat it?
Okay.
75 years old.
So Shelly's mom takes Edge before she goes out dancing at like what 6 o'clock at night, to keep her going all night long. So that's why we were laughing. She's 75 and takes it and has good experience with it. So all ages can benefit.
I asked her what she's doing, and she's taking Geritol.
So they asked what she was taking, if she was taking Geritol, and she said, no, I'm taking Edge. So then finally, just to kind of sum up how to kind of sell into these products, I looked at, I guess, the new welcome pack options after we introduced Edge. And there's a really good one that's Slim, Edge, and Block, which I think is a really good one to point people towards. And there's also one that's amazing, which I wish I would have done when I started, even though we didn't have Edge, but it's the Triplex, Edge, and Block. And I was like, that is like the perfect combination of products, not only for this time of year, but, you know, all times of year, and they get it at the cheapest price. So those would be the two welcome packs that I would try to steer people towards, especially for this time of year. And then just recently, we've had so many like birthdays and stuff like that at work, and I'm like, man, I wish I had my block here. So I would maybe suggest people ordering 2 blocks so that they could keep one at work and one at home, because I think I'm going to do that. Because every time I'm at work, I'm like, man, I wish I had one here. And I mean, I take my normal supplements in like a little supplement container to work, but just to have one there just in case, or if I have like a happy hour or something after work, it'd be so much easier to just have it with me. And then just general like healthy habits, remembering to tell people when they order to drink their water. I know a lot of people at work, especially when they're racing around, forget to even drink. They're like, oh my gosh, I haven't even drank any water today. So they're taking these products and not drinking any water and then going and drinking alcohol or whatever. I mean, they're not going to have good results with this. And then definitely getting exercise in place to get the full benefits. And then eating every 3 to 4 hours. I know when you're in a rush, it's really hard to eat every 3 to 4 hours, but I think it'll really help with the blood sugar regulation and just keeping energy up.
So what's your suggestion for eating every 3 to 4 hours? What would be some of your suggestions for that would be?
So for eating every 3 to 4 hours, I mean, I normally do like the bigger meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then I'll have snacks in between. I really do the same thing every morning, oatmeal and eggs for breakfast, and then I'll have like apples and peanut butter, protein shake as a snack. I do eat probably more protein bars than I should, just because it's convenient, and there's a lot of really good options out there now that are clean and they're not full of, you know, tons of sugar. And a lot of them are using stevia now instead of sucralose. So I think there's a lot of good options just when you're in a pinch and you're running errands after work and you need something. And then just set a routine. I know a lot of my customers have like, I have so much product left over now. And I'm like, well, you're not taking it consistently. So just setting up a routine, taking it at the same time every single day is so helpful, because that's the only way I remember how to do it. So do you guys have any questions? Yeah.
I have somebody that's going to take something actually from her. And I just found out last Christmas that he was sort of in the process of it. I didn't know. As far as I did do some reading in the beginning about rock chocolate, I did it from Olympic studies. How consistent should maybe I would recommend to weight loss?
Do you want to repeat the question?
So the question was, there's a smoker, and how often should they take block, and is it effective at helping with, you know, nicotine cravings? So I personally don't know about that.
So definitely, if he's going to take a lot from a carb standpoint, then he's going to be fine from a nicotine standpoint. Okay. But if he's taking block to try to stop smoking, then some of the success that I've seen or heard, not seen, is they take it at night. And it still works for them throughout the next day. In its purpose, because they're taking it from a smoking standpoint. I'm trying to remember which ingredient it's the seaweed. Okay,
It's the seaweed,
Yeah, I did a research because I
Okay, so
wondered
do me a
why.
favor, and can you come up here and share with me about the flavor? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have that much to say.
I know.
It's okay.
They can't do it at all.
Okay, Donna's gonna come say something.
Stay here because you look better.
Okay.
Yeah, but
So-
you're funny.
Yes, you are. And you have an awesome laugh.
Okay, so I was curious as to why, why the block was helping with the smokers, and so I did some research and I just Googled natural stop smoking aids, and all of them have the brown seaweed in them. And so then I was looking at, and that is what is, it basically changes the taste of the cigarette for you and reduces the nicotine craving over time. That's not from day one, but the taste
But
is
it
pretty
doesn't
much
taste
right
like
away.
anymore, like when they smoke it, it's not right.
And so as far as recommending it for block, I haven't done this part yet because I'm not sure it's a really good plan, but I was thinking that if I went and read about maybe 5 different of those more in depth and could see what their dosage recommendations were, that maybe we could come up with a plan, and if people were willing to experiment, then we could.
Will you do me a favor and also share with them, share with them to make sure that they're on the Flex's testimonial page, because there are testimonies from a smoking standpoint. They need to go do research on that page.
Oh, okay, yeah. Melissa's reminding us that there's a Plexus testimonial page where you can go and do your search for those things for stop smoking. And I think the search bar is pretty easy and pretty broad. Every time I've used it, just about any word I've put in has come up.
Wow.
So Alexandra had posted a chat to the group and said her husband's been smoking a pack a day for years and started block and was able to quit cold turkey after trying so many other methods. So that's awesome.
That's incredible.
What did he take? 1 pill and it didn't
Oh,
work?
ask her. She can hear you and she can type back in. That's Alex.
Allie, can you type back in what other things he tried?
No, like how many blocks?
Oh, how many blocks did he take?
What is regimen?
No, that's a screen share.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, but it got revamped.
Yeah.
It was kind of silent for a while they were revamped.
Right.
Well, maybe she'll. Okay, and then I just remembered too that they're coming back out with the Block Slim trial packs. So those are awesome to get for the holidays. Okay. Okay, so 2 blocks before lunch and 2 before dinner. So that'd be good advice for anyone looking to quit smoking.
That's exciting. That's exciting for people.
My next door neighbor is gonna
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we can talk about that publicly because that is not what block, right, it's not compliant. So that was a great question that we just had, guys. Thank you so much. I'm gonna flip this around. Okay, does anybody else have questions? Oops, we're like tangled up here.
Hey, Melissa.
Okay, yes, Dory, yeah.
I need a question, sorry, for, when she was talking about ProBio 5 and she was talking about seasonal disorder, what exactly in the ProBio 5 helps with that? We missed that.
What helped with what? Tell me again.
In the ProBio 5, she was talking about the seasonal affective disorder, the SAD. Like, what could she?
Seasonal affective disorder. What in ProBio 5 helps that?
So, you know all the posts about serotonin production being in your gut, and that.
It's the serotonin. The serotonin, and that is produced in the gut. So the ProBio 5 being,
Right.
yeah, exactly. Okay, any other questions?
Thank you.
Huh? Yeah. Anybody else? Okay, great. Okay, I'm gonna bring up Laura. Laura's gonna do some personal development for us. Make sure, I am gonna share real quick. Hopefully we'll pull up the screen. You want me to go ahead and pull it up now?
Pull it up, yeah.
So let me pull up a screen and then we will get going. I don't have on my glasses. Oh, I think this is it. Yeah, okay. Perfect.
Okay.
And you'll just click right
Good.
there.
And I think that I'm going to be able to do this without like stepping over the cord, which
Oh,
is
well, good for
fantastic.
you.
So,
Okay.
okay. And I'm not tall, so here we go. Okay. Okay, so thanks to Carrie Wilkerson at Leaders Retreat, who gave me kind of the inspiration for this, because I was working on something like this anyway. And when she talked to us at convention about, Leaders Retreat, about how the metamorphosis process happens with the caterpillar changing into the butterfly, I immediately saw so much more to that process, because my son Hunter, here we go. My son Hunter is, if he were to have gone to college, he would have been a double major in both tuba performance and lepidoptery, which is the study of butterflies and moths. So he knows everything there is to know about butterflies, moths. You ask him, it's like a scientist. He's like an encyclopedia. And of course, I've learned this by osmosis over time. And so, is everything okay? Or
Yeah, just don't you hold
okay,
it.
okay. I'm just going to keep my hand on it here, and it'll say okay. So he was very excited to help me with this. So I'm just letting y'all know that he helped me with this, because he corrected all of my science mistakes, and so we're factual here. So anyway, but there's so much more to the process of the caterpillar, of the whole metamorphosis journey, that really applies to us as ambassadors. So I just want to share that today. So this photo, okay, it's kind of okay. So like, this is what we all want, right? We want that to be our old photo and this to be our new photo. So, but there's so much more to it. We've got to go through a process. So that's what it is. So there's stages of metamorphosis in real science life. And I did kind of go back and forth with Hunter on this, because he wanted me to use the actual terms. And so I thought, no, I think I'm going to make it where it'll be understandable. So, but it is the egg, the caterpillar stage, the chrysalis, which, by the way, butterflies come from chrysalises and moths come from cocoons. So just correct your science on that. But anyway, anyway, and then the last, of course, is a butterfly. But we have stages in plexus as well. When you're a new ambassador, it's really the egg stage. You are, that's the beginning stage. The next stage in the caterpillar is where we're learning and sharing, and we're just absorbing as a brand new ambassador. And then the chrysalis stage is professional development. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then the butterfly finally is where we achieve success. And if our goal is jewel ranks, that is where we are headed. So as we look at the first stage, okay, you're a new ambassador. This is the egg stage of the metamorphosis. So yay, you're here, welcome. Well, if you can see, you can't even see it, but at the very tip of the fingernail is the egg. You can't even see it. It's right. It's a tiny, tiny dot that you can't even see. That's where it starts. So you can see, and then there's one kind of in the higher part that's just a very little teeny butterfly, caterpillar. And then there's another one there. This is how small they start. They start just from absolutely a speck. And guys, that's how we are, the caterpillar has, we start small too. We're just a new ambassador. So that's how small we are, and we have to grow. Well, the caterpillar has many little twists and turns along that growing process. Before they can go into that chrysalis, they have to grow. And there's so many dangers along the way. Like, they have to watch out for birds and ants. Ants will take those little bitty tiny caterpillars and just carry them right off. So they have to, first of all, go through the process of kind of not being eaten by ants and birds. They have to eat the correct plant. For each caterpillar, whether it's a monarch or a different type, there's a certain kind of plant that they have to eat to be able to grow. The others make them not viable. So that is, just a part of their development. They have to eat a lot. And guys, this, you can hardly even see this picture. I tried to lighten it, but on this little plant here, this was in our garden. Hunter had a butterfly garden, and we'll have one soon again. And we raised monarch caterpillars. And there, on that particular plant, there were about 5 on that one plant. And you can see where the top of the stalk is just kind of bare. We had to have so much milkweed for these caterpillars to grow. I mean, we had to go buy more and more and more. And kind of in the back there, you can see there's some little pots. We had to continue to buy more because they were eating the entire garden away, just eating it away. Because each caterpillar will devour a whole plant, just by the, I mean, at least a full-grown plant. So it is a ton that they have to be eating and eating and eating. And then they go through 5 stages of shedding their skin. And to do that, they kind of freeze in place. They get very, very still. And that process, you know, they'll shed that skin and then they move on and eat some more. And that's how they grow through the stages. So there's times where they have to be very still and allow that process to take place. Well, so when we are a ambassador and we're starting our business, okay, so we start out, we have so much excitement, we have passion, we're building new relationships with other sidelines and uplines, and we are hungry for information and training, just like the caterpillar is eating and eating and eating. We are also eating. We're learning about products. We're learning about products. We're learning about the comp plan. How does that work? How does it affect me? What do I need to tell people? We are just in that process of trying to, you know, learn things that are coming at us and be more knowledgeable. So we're in that beginning stage of just really learning about plexus, right? And that's where, I mean, and there's so much to learn. And you have to learn the correct information. You can't, you know, you need to find the information that's factual. There's so many things that are out there on the, out there on pages that we've seen, or just YouTube. If you just start and you go blindly into, you'll find things that are not correct. You have to find the things that are valuable for you, and so that's part of just trusting your upline and following the recipe that's been given to us, you know, from our uplines, and not just going off your own way. You have to really learn the correct information, or your journey will just be slowed down. And so what are some dangers that we have as a new ambassador? You know, well, you have a fear of posting. People have that. You know, that's one of the little dangers that, and if we don't do it to a person, the jewels, when you hear them talk, they say they regret not sharing sooner. That is like a common thread. And so if you're not sharing, just keep that in mind, that as soon as you start doing that, it's a huge step in the learning process. We're making excuses for whatever it is. I make excuses. And I have, and we all have, and it's something that we have to grow through and learn, that we all have the same information, the same products, and the same comp plan to share, and we just need to do it. We're waiting for a story. I did this at first too. I was waiting for weight loss. No, we can't wait. We can't wait to have our migraines go away, our weight loss, our gut to get clean. We just need to start working the business, start sharing and reaching out, because we can use our upline story, our sideline story. We have so many stories just in this room and the people on this Zoom call, and that you never want for a story. If you need stories, talk to your upline. We can give you tons of stories. Another danger is unplugging from community. And guys, this is huge. It's really huge. When you start to get further and further apart from the plant, okay, which is where you're growing, you will find that to be easier and easier but then all of a sudden you're going to die and wither away as an ambassador. You have to stay in community. There's so many opportunities for this. We have this today, which is an awesome opportunity once a month that we have. And, you know, whenever there are opportunities for team dinners, lunches, events, go to that. You will be enthused again. You will get that excitement back, that passion. Melissa gave us a video the other day about the ambassador training that we had at Top Farm Ranch on Tuesday night. That was just energizing. You leave there and you know what, like she said, we've heard Celeste's story 100 times, but I tell you what, I never get tired of hearing it, because her passion doesn't change. her passion. She gets more passionate and it stays. And she is energized now by watching everybody here become to her status. So, you know, we have so much to learn by watching, even going, if you think you've heard it before, no, you have not. You know, I took notes on the products too, and you get something every time. So please, please don't discount the value of that community. And then also we experience rejection. This is a huge danger because this can derail your entire journey. If you are on your way and then you reach out to somebody, you're excited, you're reaching out, and you do get a response back that's negative, or especially on Facebook, you post it and somebody does that, it can really set you back if you are not focused on your goals and focused on your why. Because rejection, we need to learn, like Eric Worre says, to embrace the no, because it means there's that many more no's will get you closer to yeses. So just be strong and know that you have belief in your products and your opportunity, and you will be able to keep growing. So then we, this is just a little picture here that shows the growth, of the caterpillar, how large it will get by the end. And so there's just so much growth to happen. And that is all in that learning stage. If you're not learning and watching and learning and committing to your product cards and those things, you've got to keep learning through that process. So then we get to the chrysalis stage. And this is the part that Carrie really talked about, what happens in the chrysalis. It's just so fascinating. But there's a few things I want to point out about it just from the caterpillar standpoint. This picture shows what happens to the caterpillar as it's building a chrysalis. You can see it kind of makes the letter J, hangs from the spot, makes the letter J, and then it starts just making that chrysalis. The difference that a moth will spin a silk cocoon, but the chrysalis is made a different way than a silk cocoon. It's not silk. It's a hard shell. So the butterfly is actually creating this chrysalis as it's hanging from the spot. But it has to find a safe place. If it does not find the right place, it will not be viable. It will be destroyed before it completes the chrysalis. We've seen this happen. Hunter has had up to like 8 chrysalises at the same time forming. They would crawl across the ground, go to the fence, go all the way up the fence, and hang from the top of the wood bar on the fence. But some of them would try to make a chrysalis on the plant. Those would immediately be destroyed by wind, rain, whatever. It wasn't protected enough, so they would be destroyed. Yes, it does. They die because the process has yes, it does. In fact, when it has just completed the chrysalis, it is not hard shell yet. It has to sit there and harden. And so when it's not quite hard yet, if it gets knocked down, Hunter has actually seen this happen, and it turns just into liquid on the ground. It's just liquid on the ground. You can't even see you can't even see the form of the chrysalis anymore. So when that just drops immediately, that's what happened. So anyway, okay, so then it has to be very strongly supported, which is what we're talking about, the fence or something, a good strong place. The chrysalis to form, the caterpillar has to be, has to go through the process. There's no other way to get there than to go through the process. And it's hard work. We've watched them create the chrysalis, and it's fascinating, but it takes a long time to do it. It just looks like they're working so hard to do it, but it takes time. And then at the very end, if you see the second to last photo there, it's almost completed that process, but there's a little bit of the caterpillar part left at the top, the little last part. As they form the end of the chrysalis, you'll see them. And when we first started watching this happen, it was crazy. They shake and shake and shake and shake. And what they're doing is shaking off that very last piece of their larva in order to make it's called a cremaster. It's the part that attaches to the mat that they've created on the surface. And they shake and shake, and you just think, it's going to fall down, it's going to fall down. And it doesn't, because it's just shaking off that very last part of the larva so that it can close up that chrysalis. And so then of course, it goes to what Carrie talked about in our training last week. It turns to goo inside. It is literally liquid inside of the chrysalis, which is so, so amazing that this is the process. But that is what is happening to the actual caterpillars. So what happens to us when we are making a chrysalis? So first of all, it is a professional growth. It is personal growth. And I think what happens for us as ambassadors is we learn and learn and learn the facts. We learn how to do plexus. And then we realize that, what, there is growth that has to happen. We have to do something in order to continue to progress into, a leader, and a leader of our team, a leader of even 1 or 2 or 3 people. And so what you have to do, you get to a point and you realize that first there's humility of, I need to change myself. I need to grow myself. And so you get to that point, and that's humility in prayer. You enter into that part and say, I need to make myself the best me I can be. How am I going to do that? And you're coachable. You are allowing your upline to pour into you and to coach you through that process, because it's new for you to go through this kind of a peeling off of layers so to speak. You need to read books. I know some people say, well, I'm not really a reader. Well, become a reader. I'll just say that, become a reader. Melissa challenged us a little while back to read 10 pages a day. And as much as we love all of her things, that's not an original thought from Melissa, because we've heard it from other leaders in Plexus. And so once you start that process, and it's not like you read, the challenge was not to go 3 days and then read 30 pages, and then go 3 days and read 30 pages. It's to read 10 pages a day, because you get into the habit of that discipline. And what that has done for me, because I started doing it, and what it has done for me is it's actually made me crave more, and which I didn't think was possible. And even with my busy schedule, I still find the time to do it every day, because it's important and I know it's going to grow me. And so just start doing it. And believe me, there's so many books, and we can point you to books that will be great to start with if you have not started. There's so many that are good to start with, but we can do that for you, your upline, or anybody who's on this call. And then, of course, listening to calls. We still need to all be doing that, and watching videos. If you're not used to having a playlist, and I'm not a tech person, so I haven't actually created a playlist yet, but I know when I leave the house in the morning, the Rolling University, we've talked about it a bunch of times, but guys in the car, if you're driving, don't waste that time. Use that time to watch or listen. What I do is when I'm driving Hunter every morning to his program, I want to have conversation with him on the way. So of course we talk. That's valuable for me to be talking with him. But then when I drop him off, or when I'm driving back, or when I'm running errands, I have a video that I'm going to watch or put on the seat next to me and listen to it in the car. Or a call. I'll just push it on, I have it ready. I say, okay, this is the one today. And a lot of times it's from our team, and sometimes it's something Melissa's posted, or something that I found and I've saved for later. But I have it ready to go so that I can make sure that during the day, even if that's the only time I get to listen to something during the day, then I'm going to get it in. Because most of the time I can do it while I'm around running errands, and there's no law that says you have to sit down and watch a 45-minute video all at once. Nobody's saying that. So and then another thing that's just huge for the whole personal development is accountability, and that's just somebody holding you to the fire and really helping you to check where you are in this whole growth process. So accountability, it's not somebody to police. It's for you and that person to really call each other on a regular basis and really hold yourself to what your goals are, so that you can continue to kind of check your progress along the way. But all of these things are the things that it's digging deep. It's not just the facts of learning about plexus and the comp plan and that stuff. It's digging into yourself. It's actually working on you. And when you do that, things start to happen. It really does change the complexion of your business. It changes the way you look at life and the way you approach just all the different parts of your life. And I just highly recommend it, because when you finally get down to that goo, then things are going to change, and you become, when you emerge, you'll become a butterfly. So what happens to the butterfly? If you look at this, this is the emergence process on the photos. When the butterfly emerges, first it has to break free of the chrysalis. We've actually seen butterflies that don't do that. They don't, they get stuck. And we've tried to help them, and you can't, they die. So you have to come out of that state. Okay, you have to find a way to get out of the chrysalis. They have to start to pump blood into their veins for the wings to develop. And so the thorax is actually very, very large. You see in the fourth little picture there's the picture of the thorax, and it's pumping and pumping and pumping, and it's pumping that blood into the veins of the wings, and it's dropping blood along the way also. Some of the blood drops to the ground, and you'll see if you have, you'll see if you have chrysalises that you're watching, when they emerge, immediately there'll be a drop of blood down on the ground of whatever it is. You'll see that, because that's the first step, and then they pump into the wings. They have to be still. The last photo there, after they've emerged, they sit there, which it seems like forever for the wings to dry. If the wings are not allowed to fully dry, and before they try to fly, they will just die. So the wings have to be, they're very, very crumply, and first when they come out, they're just like wadded up in a ball, and they eventually get straight, and they have to sit there very still. And I think that can apply to us too, that I'll get to in a second. But the last thing they do is then they go immediately, the first time they fly, they have to find nectar. So like in our garden, when Hunter has his butterfly garden, he has his host plants where they eat the leaves, and then has nectar plants where immediately they will go to get food, because they have to be fed immediately. They can't just go off on their own and without nourishment. And then they have a long journey ahead of migration, and that's a whole nother thing that's very, very fascinating. But it's a very long journey and very, very hard. But that is the start of that whole process. So for us, we emerge from self-development as a leader, as a stronger leader than we've been. It's possible that we have, maybe if your journey went kind of fast, and then you're working on that self-development, the next thing, when you feel like you're starting to come out of that, you are a stronger leader than you were, but maybe you need to become a leader for the first time. And so that is your stage where you're going to go and get that development, and you're going to emerge as a strong leader. You need to take time to reflect and pray. And, there's time in the process of coming out of different stages of your development where you've got to just reflect on it and really just either, be still, allow the Lord to speak in, and redirect what your thinking is into what your thinking is going to be for your team and your business. And then you have to continue professional growth. You've got to still nourish yourself. You're not completed. You're not finished. You've got to continue to have the food of training and all of those things that help you grow in the beginning stages too. And then you set those goals, and you start moving forward, and you move out, and then start leading others in the journey. These pictures here just show, if you've never seen these photos, many have, but in Mexico, that's where they go for migration for the most part. There's a couple other spots, but this is what it looks like. It's just solid, millions and millions of the butterflies. It's so fascinating, but they all know where they are headed. They know where they're going, and they're moving out, and they join others along the way. Sometimes you'll see just a whole little group of them flying in the air. So it's fascinating, but that's what it's going to take for us too. And this last little thing that I have says, nothing happens until the pain of remaining the same outweighs the pain of change. And that's really what it is getting to the point that you are ready to go through that process that may not be, it's not going to be easy, it's not going to be comfortable, but after you complete it, it's going to be so exciting where you can go. And so that's it. I'm done.
Okay, so 2 seconds here. Let me see if I can stop the share. There we are. I've got to stop my recording because I put it on my phone. So give me 2 seconds. If y'all recorded it, y'all can do the same thing. Okay, I have to make sure I save it. That was so good. Was that not so good? Oh my goodness. Okay, a couple of things that I want you to do, and then if you have questions on that or just insight of just what you thought about. First thing I want you to do right now at this moment is take a selfie. I see Marilyn Fitch, who I'm so proud of. She's on her way to a memorial service, and she is on her phone in the car with her husband. So thank you for being on here. But everybody take a selfie right now, and I want you to text it to me. 469, we're going to do one as a group. 469-471-5282. So text it 469-471-5282. I want to see my phone blowing up. Let's see. Oh, Michelle says, I love this. Such a great word for us this morning. I love how you have gone more in depth on the metamorphosis. I loved it. It was so good. Shania, I'm sorry that you had a screen broken up. I don't know what was going on with that. Sorry about that. Let me see. I think that that's everybody on these chats. But so that's the first thing. I loved the whole thing on, oh, Dory, you look so cute doing that. Beauty must. Y'all do one as a team, Dory. Do a threesome right there. Yeah, do one all together. Not a threesome. Don't do a threesome. Don't. I highly do not recommend. But take a picture. I think I'm going to stop this recording on